This past weekend, I got to watch Hokum, a supernatural horror film written and directed by Damian McCarthy. It stars Adam Scott as an author who travels to a hotel in Ireland unaware it may be haunted. Now, I'm not usually the biggest fan of haunted house movies, but this one had a lot of great buzz going into it, so I decided I wanted to go see if Hokum lived up to all the hype that was surrounding it. This will be a spoiler-free review. Now, without wasting any more time, let's just jump straight into it. Starting off with the good, the movie does a really good job at incorporating Irish folklore. A lot of movies use folklore, but they usually pick and choose more popular ones and just plop them into their movie, which is fine. It usually doesn't upend the movie in any way. But here, because the folklore is more intertwined with the people, the land, and its history, it really helps bring you closer to what's potentially happening with the people and the hotel. The way this movie uses sound design is super well done. A lot of horror movies just go for the cheap scares with how it uses its sound, letting it crescendo until a jump scare happens, but Hokum really isn't interested in doing that. It wants to earn the scares that it's going for, and I respect that a lot. It knows when there should be a moment of silence and where the silence is really deafening. It brings out the dread from the situation a lot more than any kind of music or sound could ever do. Along with the sound design, the way the camera moves around and sets up the shots are great. The willingness to let shots linger on just a little bit too long so your mind starts to play tricks on you is great, and something the movie does very well. They also do a lot of nice callback shots to ones earlier in the film, which gives it kind of a consistent feeling. They're not just doing a cool shot to have a cool shot, but to some degree have a thematic through line through how the movie is shot, which I found really cool. There's this one scene that happens probably towards the middle of the film. Now, I'm not going to get into it much, but to me it helps flip what we, the audience, thinks we knew up until that point completely on its head. And to me, this is something the movie really needed, and I wasn't expecting it at all. It helps transform what could have just been a supernatural haunted house movie into something more than that. I like the reveal, and the character interactions we get after that point are wonderful. If you can try to stay completely unspoiled on what that twist is, I think you'll end up liking the movie a lot more because of it. But if you end up finding out what the twist is, I don't think it's going to take away much from the movie. But obviously, if you can stay spoiler-free, try to stay spoiler-free. Performances across the board are really good, with the standouts being Adam Scott as Ohm Bauman, David Wilmot as Jerry, Florence Odesha as Fiona, and Peter Coonan as Mal. Not saying that the other characters in the movie are phoning it in or anything, but these four are the ones who really hold the whole film together. Now, Florence Odesha's Fiona isn't in the movie that long compared to the other three, but she is pretty much the catalyst for everything that happens after a certain point in the movie. Her gentle, caring nature carries through the rest of the film and keeps you wanting to know what happened. She also serves as a great contrast to Adam Scott's character, someone who doesn't like bleak endings, someone who just wants the best in the world and for everyone around her. I wish she was physically in the movie longer, but I did enjoy how they kept using her after the incident occurs. It's a smart usage of a device that's shown off earlier in the film, and it doesn't feel forced at all. But the real standout of the film is Adam Scott, as he is alone metaphorically and physically for a good amount of the movie. The movie rests almost completely on his shoulders, and Adam does a wonderful job with his performance. Acting by yourself is always a daunting task for a lot of people, and one that can easily fall flat if you're not giving it your all, and thankfully, Adam does just that. From the beginning of the movie, you see him isolated and being haunted by something he either doesn't want to face or he just can't face yet. He's a very jaded person who doesn't care about anyone else, and at the beginning of the film, you kind of don't care what happens to him, but they do a good job at making you start to care for him. When his character Ohm and Jerry both want to know what happened to Fiona because of what she does for him earlier in the movie. And by the end of the movie, his character, while hasn't been completely transformed to this saint of a person like some movies would try to make him be, but he is very clearly transformed by his experiences over the past hour and a half, and he's definitely changed for the better. None of the changes feel forced, and you see the journey he goes on to get to that finishing point, and it feels very rewarding as a viewer. Moving on to the mixed aspects, I don't have much to say here. This isn't a detriment to the movie at all, but I do wish the movie utilized one of its main sources of dread and scares more. There's this one character who was marketed with the movie a lot from what I've been able to see on social media, and the few scenes that was used in, I was on the edge of my seat for, locked in completely. So I just wanted more usage of the character. His design is so reminiscent of those uncanny children shows from the 80s, maybe early 90s as well, that when you see it now, you're like, why was this a character made for children's television? It's just that uncanny design, and it's very off-putting, but in the best way possible. So as a viewer, I wanted just to see more of him, see what other kind of ways he could have been incorporated into the scares and all that other jazz and whatnot. On the other hand, if you use him too much, do those few scenes with this character not make as much of an impact? More than likely, yeah, but as a viewer who just wants to see more of this weird, messed up creature that this director has made up, I just wanted to see more of him. And I don't know really how they could have done it, but if they really wanted to, I think they could have. It's not detriment to the movie at all that he's not in it for that long, but I just wanted to see more of him. Moving on to the bad, I have one major thing, and it's a very subjective topic, but I don't think this movie is scary at all. Now, this isn't the movie's fault. I don't think when they decide to make the movie, they want to go for that. But, with reviews and early reactions, you get a lot of those hyperbolic, this is the scariest movie of 2026 by far, or something along those lines. And that's mainly to help generate buzz and potentially get people who will only see those to go to the theaters. So, on one hand, it's really good marketing. This could just be me personally very desensitized to horror movies, but I've seen plenty of horror movies this year that, at least to me, get more tense at a higher volume than I was watching Hokum. So when the movie decides to go for some of its scares, they just seem way too in line with other horror movies, which after watching the movie and sitting with my thoughts, this was probably the most disappointing part of the film. Now, those scenes work a lot better than most of the other films, mainly because of the sound design and the way the camera is moving, but I was way more invested into those scenes because of the way the camera operator decided to move the camera and how the sound design was elevating the scene itself and not really anything to do with the scare, which, going for a scary movie, you want the scares to be good. I didn't have any expectations going into Hokum, and the longer I've let it sit with me, the more I've ended up liking it. From the creepy imagery to the usage of Irish folklore and the bait and switch halfway through the movie, this definitely cements itself as one of the best horror movies I've seen so far this year. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who loves the horror genre. Have you seen Hokum? If you have, what did you think of it? And if you haven't, are you interested in seeing it? Let me know down in the comments below. And thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of your day.